incredibly angry at playing this deck. It just doesn't work. Well, we go first with a lot of blue cards. Why are you in the deck? We might have to consult for 2, which is quite sad. They've mulliganed. Fabled Passage turn 1. What do they get? An island. Well, in that case, we will start in town. Is this going to get countered? It is not. Well, we'll get a 3rd stock up. Is this going to get countered? No. We'll get a consult and a steam vents. There are sticks. What do you have if you're not countering a consult and a stock up? Nothing by the looks of it. Well, let's shock you in. Let's stock up again. Do you have a counterspell now? No. Well, we need a full bore at some point. And we'll get an Earthbender Ascension. But we still need picture Into the Flood Maw. We still need our Harmonizer. Maybe we should have kept Into the Flood Maw. Well, we can counter the triggered ability. Or we can counter the Pact. Oh, I should have done a Fabled Passage. Let's swing in for 2. Question is this Moogle, Iroh, or Cat Pact? Or probably all of them. Let's get a second green source. Well, there's a steam vents. Let's we can put a counter on our steam vents, maybe. Oh, it can't be countered. All right. Let's full bore. Let's Fabled Passage and a stock up. We will discard a Burst Lightning and a Fabled Passage because we can get more lands with our stock up and our consult. What are they up to? Well, let's analyze the pollen and collect evidence. On a Mightform Harmonizer. And let's just stock up for now. Okay. We didn't find a land. Let's hit him for 2. I should have kept up more blue mana. They consult. Because they do 4 to us and gain 4. And we detect Intrusion, the Cat Pact. Or if it's... Well, it's triggered ability, not activated ability. So we couldn't counter Mog. I mean... What do you have? Oh, that's the bird, innit? That's a triggered ability. Well, we'll warp you. Bull bore onto you. Find an escape tunnel. There you go. We beat you anyway, but they would have lost because they only have one thing they could have chosen. If they gave it to us, we could have just Detect Intrusion the trigger then as well. So, yeah, an odd choice Detect Intrusion, but it did come up clutch then. Well, an opponent goes first. We can fetch... Let's fetch a island. Oh, they have a Servondum. Take a stock up. And hit another stock up. We'll take a Sear and a Verge. And ditch the Verge, I suppose. Well, let's ditch the Detect Intrusion. I think they've just got an absolute boatload of removal. Well, there's a full bore. Discard the steam vents. Yeah, we would quite like them to tap out. So I'm going to play out the Explorer, which I imagine gets removed. Why the hell are you playing Stroke of Midnight? Well, I'm just going to carry on. Let's get a mountain. Until they tap out. That's pretty good. So the question is, can our Harmonizer survive? There wasn't a stick. And our opponent scoops. Well, we've got the things, we just need more lands and to survive. If you draw a third land, we can stock up. I'm against life gain. I'll put you on blue. That was a good draw. Third land and actual green. Well, there's a Pride Mate. Like another stock up and a forest. We need the fetch land. So it's cats more than life gain. But are we just not going to survive? We need to find another blue source. Well, we've got to take the blue source. Let's bounce the Pride Mate. The problem is, without the fetch land, well, even with the fetch land, we're dead. Well, we have a stock up. Maybe that can find our Harmonizer. We will get a red source. Oh, there's another Ascension. I've only got 2 of them. Let's Bouncer. They do get to... They don't discard. Well, that can kill Ashling. I suppose we get the other land. Do you discard something now? Do you have a counterspell? Not quite. We are still looking for a Harmonizer. But we know they play Bounce Off. We could just kick our Burst Lightning. But I think we get down you. Let's get a second red source. Now they get to produce a lot of mana. And we have pretty much nothing. Hooray! What do you pitch? Yeah. Well, at least we found another one. But obviously, we still need a Harmonizer. What more goodies do you have? Yep. Oh, there's a Fabled Passage. We will kick you, take out Ashling. But it's now or never for our Harmonizer. They shocked that in. Well, we take 10. We need our Icetill Explorer to survive. I am incredibly angry at playing this deck. It just doesn't work. Well, we have the required pieces, apart from full board. Can we find full board? It's a nice plains from back from Nuka Penna. Oh good, Voice of Victory. Oh good, Enduring Innocence. We will stock up. We can exile the Innocence. But that was not a great stock up. Let's ditch and escape tunnel. Oh good, Demolition Field. Well, we're down to 12. Let's get down on Earthbender's Ascension. But I think we're probably just dead. Since we don't have a full board. I mean, if we draw a full ball, I think we've won, but what are the chances of that happening? Low. Well, we have a full ball and the Harmonizer. Let's just take you out. Goblin, 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 goblin. Sear Slicer. Oh no, a Firebrand. Can I get a land that's not a Fabled Passage? No. Can I get a land that's not a Fabled Passage? I'll take you out. Land, land, land. You're not a fucking land. And now we've got to get a blue source with that. There's a Boggart Mischief. You should have attacked with your Firebrand first. Yeah, see? Well, that doesn't give us the right... Let's just take a Burst Lightning then. We are going to take a bit of a hit. But hopefully this should be enough. Come on. All out attack, yes. Right, we get a mountain. Right. We warp you. We buff you. And just for funsies. There we go. It can work. Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video, and today we are looking at the Temur Harmonizer deck that Tony Portland piloted to the final of the recent Lorwyn Eclipsed Pro Tour. He did lose in the final. Now I will caveat before I say my next thing, obviously Tony Portland is a lot better player than I am, and the Pro Tour is obviously a lot different setup to playing, standard on Arena. And obviously it is best of 3, so they do have a sideboard to side in from. But that being said, this is genuinely one of the worst decks I have ever played. And I don't know how it got to the final or how it is a competitive deck in any way whatsoever, because in the play on Arena, it is not. It is awful. Let's quickly go through it. So as the name suggests, it is Temur, and it utilizes Mightform Harmonizer from Edge of Eternities, a 4-mana 4/4. It has landfall. Whenever land you control enters, double the power of target creature you control until end of turn, and we can warp in it for 3. Warp means we can play it for the warp cost, but we sacrifice it at the end of our end step. Sorry, we exile at the beginning of our end step, and we cast from exile on a later turn. So the idea is we get this down, we get lands down, we buff creatures, but we only have 2 other creatures. We have 3 copies of Icetill Explorer, 4-mana 2/4. We can play additional land on each of our turns. We may play a land from our graveyard, and whenever a land we can enter, we mill a card. And then we have 1 copy of Wistfulness, one of the Lorwyn Eclipsed elementals, 5-mana 6/5. If double green was spent to cast it, exile target artifact or enchantment opponent controls. If double blue was spent to cast it, we could draw 2 cards and discard a card, and we can invoke it for either, for blue and green. So they're the only creatures. Now they don't have any evasion. So the way to win is we warp Harmonizer, then we full bore onto it. Full bore gives target creature +3/+2 to the end of turn. If that creature was cast for its warp cost, it also goes trample and hasted till the end of turn. So if we warp in a Mightform Harmonizer, we cast full bore on it, becomes 7 power, and then we have a Fabled Passage or an Escape Tunnel, which are fetch lands. We play those out, we get 2 landfall triggers, it will go up to 28 power, haste, trample, so we can smash in. That's literally the only way we can win, and this is why I just don't understand how this deck is in any way good. There are 2 Earthbender Ascensions, so if we get enough counters on them, we can give something trample till end of turn. So you could Mightform Harmonizer for the regular cost, hope it survives till next turn, make your land drop, and then put trample on it that way for the turn. But that's incredibly slow. It has no built-in protection. We do have Spell Snare, which counts target spell with mana value 2, and 2 copies of Detect Intrusion, count target instant spell, sorcery spell, or triggered ability, so counter removal. But yeah, we only have 2 of them each, so them being in our hand isn't always guaranteed. We do have consult the star charts and stock up 4 of each, so finding cards, is easier than normal, but again, you just need everything to come right. We also have 1 copy of Into the Flood Maw, 3 copies of Burst Lightning, 1 copy of Thunder Magic, 1 Analyze the Pollen to maybe get a land, or if we can collect Evidence 8, find one creature. 3 copies of Sear, deal 4 to target creature or planeswalker for 2. And then, yeah, that's the deck. We have 25 lands, quite a few basic lands, which in a 3-colour deck, obviously we have basic lands to fetch up with Earthbender Ascension and Analyze the Pollen, but yeah, it's... I would hope for more, a few more dual lands, especially some of the foul lands, seeing as we don't have many 1-drops you really care about. So if anyone knows like how this deck's good, obviously it is because it got to the final, or it is in that very specific environment. But yeah, in the play queue, it is absolutely trash. And as I said, one of the worst decks I've ever played. So really weird to say that about a deck that got to a final of a major tournament, but it is just one-dimensional. There are copies of Bar Sing Se, so you know, we can Earthbend a bit, but also just to be aware, because it turns the creatures into 0/0 with counters on them, we can't double their power with the Harmonizer. So, you know, I'm not sure if that's something that's meant to happen. So it just requires so many things to go right. And so there's a sideboard, a couple of Spell Pierces, a couple of Soul Guide Lanterns, an Essence Scatter, 3 Pyroclasms, an extra Sear, Heritage Reclamation, Surak, Scouring Stormsoul, Songcrafter Mage, and Quantum Riddler. So, you know, maybe it's a deck that the sideboard's the main power thing. They can side things in and out depending on the matchup. But yeah, I just really don't understand it. So sorry for a bit of a rant. It's very weird seeing a very good deck just not be very good at all. So, but I hope you do enjoy the video. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe. And I'll give a shout out to my patrons, like Arcadius, Mihal, Thomas, and Adrian. Thank you very much for your support, and I'll see you all in the next video.